you in a question, what are you going to do with your life? And implied in that is, what one single thing are you going to do that's going to establish you? And that's the way you think, don't you? When you meet somebody for the first time and you're getting acquainted, they ask you this, they say, and what do you do? Isn't that interesting? How many human beings have you ever met for the first time and they would ask, and what have you done? How many things are you into? There's an assumption that you're singular. You do one thing and that's what your interest is. Oh, how 3D of you. And here's what I'm telling you. Multiple contracts lay upon you constantly, and they're only good for the time you want to do them. What if you should have an epiphany in your life and raise your vibration? There are those in the room who have had that. In fact, you can probably even tell me when it was. I know who's here. An epiphany in your life which had have caused you to think differently, to raise your vibration, and now you are someone else. You can even look back at who you used to be and go, I'm not that person anymore. Do you think for a moment that all of the things that laid upon you when you were 20 years old, for instance, are now applicable still simply because there's only one thing to do? And the answer is, of course not. Well, then why are you still thinking you've got one contract? Is it possible you change them? And you do. Every single day, you have the opportunity of choosing any one of dozens of purposes you might have for yourself. And your frustration is because you lay there in a three-dimensional place, confused because you don't know which one is right. What if they're all right? And if you start to understand that they could be, I would say you are starting to step into that multidimensional place where God resides. And the divinity in you is starting to show itself as you have an understanding. What shall I be this year? Shall I write the book that's always been there, even though I don't think I'm an author? Shall I stand in front of people and teach, even though I'm not an orator? Well, yes, you are, and yes, you are. Your passion can change from time to time, depending upon the energy of the crystalline grid, where you're living. Did you hear that? And who you think you are. Don't be surprised if as your self-worth increases and you work on yourself, your passion will change for what you think you want to do. And what is it that's going on there, dear one? You have just elevated yourself, brought forward things in your Akash, married yourself to different concepts that are multidimensional. And then there are those around you who'll go, look at that person who can't make up their mind what they want to do. And Spirit looks at you and say, blessed is the human who knows they can do many things. There is no such thing as a contract. There's only the various passions you come in with. And you're going to notice something about most of them help other people. It's the compassion factor. What is it that you can do which is compassionate? Can you write a song and give it to another person? And what will be their reaction if you do? Their heart might melt. When Beethoven wrote Ode to Joy, do you think that he foresaw millions of hearts that melt? I doubt it. But that was his contract of the day. Is there poetry in you? Is there compassionate thought? Can you create a sculpture? And you might say, no, that's not for me. I don't do any of those things. I'm not good with my hands. Yes, but you might be good with your heart. When somebody comes to you at work and wants to share something with you, are there words you can give them that would melt their heart? And that might be your contract for the day. Blessed is the human being who understands that the compassion they have in them is the true contract of God. Now, what they do with that in any direction, pulling upon their Akash or not, is what they're supposed to do. And that's number one. Don't decide you failed because you can't find one thing you're good at. Because as an old soul, you might be good at 50 things, really good at them. Really good at them. And you might start changing what you do every day. And the humans around you will think you're wishy-washy because you can't get a grasp on 3 dimensions. And you can just smile and know they're right. Because you have decided to take on the attributes of a compassionate God. I don't understand, you might say, these kinds of things, Kryon, because they're a little tough to conceive of. You have trouble with that one? Wait till you hear this one. You are advanced enough, dear ones, to listen to this. So I can plant the seeds of truth that are so bizarre to you that you may not believe it, understand how it could possibly be, work with it, because it's not in your reality, but eventually you'll know. And here it is. Let us start with the simplicity of God. That's a dichotomous statement. Do you have any trouble praying to God when you know somebody else is also? In your world, if you were going to talk to someone, including a spiritual leader, you'd take turns, wouldn't you? If somebody's talking to them, you wait in line, don't you? Do you do that with God? No. Why? And the answer is because you know God can hear multiple messages at the same time. Do you have any trouble with being in one part of the world or another part of the world or traveling from one to another and speaking to Spirit? No. What do you know about Spirit? Spirit will be in all places at once. Really? What does that tell you about Spirit? God is omnipresent. God is always with you. Spirit knows every heart, every mind. This is your mantra. I'm not giving you information you don't know. But have you ever analyzed what it might mean? It might mean that God is quantum. Outside of your reality and a quantum state, God can be everywhere at the same time, entangled with you forever. No time, no space, no distance, no singularity. Everywhere, all the time. Now, follow the logic. What are you learning here on the planet? That God is in you. I gave you the information about the splendor in your DNA. that the higher self is represented, angelic layers are there, that chemically you're alive with God. It's inside your corporeal attributes. God is in you. Not just spiritually, but chemically. You are imbued with the divine attributes of a creator. And there you sit thinking you're singular. And you're not. Therefore, as my partner brought up today, many of you don't understand. You yourself, your name goes here, are multiple. Beyond your wildest dreams. And what I'm going to tell you next, you will not understand, because you have a clock. And it's a singular one. And this is going to be tough. I'm going to talk about the agreement, not the contract. The agreement to a system of love. And some of you are going to relate to this. It's beautiful. It's beyond beautiful. The system of love. I've spoken about this one other time. A system of love, and it has to do with family. This is not about chemistry. This is about the attributes of the love of a compassionate God who is inside you, who honors those who are in sorrow because they don't know the truth. Now go slow, my partner, for you are receiving a great deal of information all at once, and I can tell you're struggling to know where to begin. If you have a circle presented, and the circle has a message that is complete and total as a circle, if you take it apart and begin anywhere in the circle, that means you leave out the rest. That is the struggle my partner has right now, because I am trying to give him a place to start. You have an agreement that in death, only part of you leaves, the corporeal part. Part of you remains on the planet, and it doesn't go to the crystalline grid. It goes to your Akashic relatives. That's a good start, my partner. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching this. I wanted to tell you this is a little time sensitive.
Right. Let us again relax into the space we all created together in this beautiful day here in Sedona, Arizona, on this beautiful earth, in this beautiful solar system, in this vast, amazing galaxy, part of billions of other galaxies in this universe that is part of a much even larger scale multiverse, cosmic space. We don't even have a name for it, but we know it's within each and every one of us. So take a deep breath. Allow yourself to drop again into that beautiful space we call our hearts, that connects us with all that is, with the I am that I am. Breathe and allow yourself to love yourself even more. Allow yourself to love yourself truly, deeply, multidimensionally, energetically, even more. How much more you can allow yourself to love yourself. Take another breath. As you open more into your own magnificence, into your own divinity, into your own light, into your beauty and joy, into the pure infinite of your soul, into the beingness, the grand, immense being that you truly are. Experiencing here just a fraction, a moment in time on earth. Breathe. How much more of that you can bring right now into this space. There is truly no limit to how much you can experience in every moment. It's all in the allowance, it's all in the beingness, in feeling the oneness of all that is. Breathe. Feel your energy, feel your Merkava expanding, coalescing with all the other Merkabas in this room. Allow the language of multidimensionality to talk to the other Merkabas in this room. And they talk to you, and they talk beyond this room, and they talk to this city and beyond this city. And they talk to the entire earth. Feel the vibration, the frequencies, the resonance, the waves of light expanding, vibrating in the field of all that is, of infinite potentials. How much more of that you can allow yourself to feel is all in you. Breathe. Allow yourself to open up even more. Creating a stronger connectedness to your being, to your soul, that creates a stronger connection between all of us here and beyond. A stronger coherence, a stronger field of love, of energy, beyond words. It's all in the feeling. It's all in the light. In a space that has no beginning and no end. No beginning and no end. Breathe. And repeat after me as we open up to this trio channel, as we're about to receive the energies and the messages and the love from the Star Mothers and Meliha, from Peggy, Phoenix, Subro, Anya, and the Divine Feminine, and through Lee, the love, wisdom of Kryon. Repeat after me. I am magnificent. I was born magnificent. I carry the light of the Creator within me. And I am dearly loved by God. Again, I am magnificent. I was born magnificent. I carry the light of the Creator within me. And I am dearly loved by God. And one last time. I am magnificent. I was born magnificent. I carry the light of the Creator within me. And I am dearly, dearly, dearly loved by God.
Dear Shining Ones, we step forward in benevolence and in love, sending before us waves of love from our home in the Pleiades. For we are the star mothers, the teachers of the new humanity, the mothers of the new humanity and the new consciousness. As we pour our love through these words, we ask you this: can you, will you receive it? Can you, will you open your hearts and your minds to receive what is limitless, boundless, and your birthright as divine humans with Pleiadian, Lemurian DNA? And yes, all of you in this sacred circle right now are related to someone who's related to, who is related to the first generation of Pleiadian Lemurians. So you are indeed all family together at this time. And though you may think you came here for a beautiful seminar and a fun vacation, you are doing the work of the world right now. Your energy together. If you could see it as we do above this building, spinning in a morphic field, that beautiful morphic field of purpose and love, and the divine energy of balance that we as mothers, star mothers, have brought to your awareness at this time to recreate balance on this planet, to birth once again in a completely different way than we did in Lemuria, but to birth the new humanity. For the children that are born now, for the teenagers, for the adults, for the seniors, are all part of this new humanity. And you are our children. We call you our shining ones because in each of you there is a spark. That original spark, that beautiful seed spark that makes you shine in our eyes. We know the words star seed have been around for quite a while, many years in your time. But now that you know that a part of a star mother is seated inside of you, beloved ones, there's your answer. Yes, star seeds. Here, now, the shift in time, the shift in consciousness, the awakening. It will be called many things in your history. You'll be back to see that as well and participate. And your participation will be on the backs of the consciousness that you're creating today. You will become, once again, your own ancestor with the wisdom that you've gained during this time. And you will know how to honor yourself as divine humans, how to honor the shift that the divine feminine is now creating on the planet, how the divine masculine is waking up and seeing what the divine feminine has to offer, and bring into balance those two beautiful aspects. Take a breath with me, please. We know we give you much information, and each time that breath comes through you, some of that information integrates. So that is why we pause and say, take a breath. Today, those of you that are here, and those of you that will listen to this in the future, are part of a new awareness. The awareness of this star seed that you are. Where does that live inside of you? For each of you, it might be different at different times also. But when you keep coming back to the sacredness of your own star seed consciousness, that is where the magic is. The sacredness of star seed consciousness. And all you need to do is remember. Sometimes the hardest thing to do, isn't it? We know you call it the amnesia of our human life. You forget. You work with your minds. More goes on there than anything. Now we ask you, with that breath, to come back into the awareness of your divinity and begin to bring that beautiful, soft, sacred, magnificent balance into who you are, whatever your gender, whatever your age, whatever your beliefs. Balance is the key for guiding this new consciousness, each of your consciousness, and the new consciousness of humanity into the future. Remember, your thoughts, your words are magic. They create your future. And you always have a choice for what you create. If you would bring your hand to your human heart right now, beloved ones, take a breath. And repeat this 3 times. I am sacred. I am sacred. I am sacred. Take another breath. How does that feel? Can you embody that? Is it just words, or can you believe it? We are reaching inside your hearts right now. We are doing heart surgery on you today to open your beautiful hearts, to heal the wounds that have been here in them, perhaps for lifetimes. So now we'd like you to say this again, but say it just to yourself, like a whispered prayer. I am sacred. I am sacred. I am sacred. I am sacred. and hold that inside of you. Hold it under your hand. Let it circulate around your beautiful heart, your physical and your spiritual heart. Feel us in there with you. You are our beloved children. We see you as perfect. And we are always available to you. You only need to ask, and we will step in to the sacred circle of your life. Take another breath and gently release your hand. Feel the warmth on your heart center and know that you are never alone. We are always available with you in consciousness and in physicality. And for now, we are honored to have this time with you, and we step back to the outside of the circle and become the holders of the sacred space. We step back.
I am Anya, here in the time of the Great Evolution, initiator of the Universal Calibration Lattice, and transmitter of the templates of light and energy, reminding you you are greatly loved, inviting you to love greatly. In this time, in the energy of infinite love, we ask you to affirm, I remember I am. I remember I am. In the energy of infinite love, I remember I am. Each one of you is invited to become stronger conduits and channels of this energy of love that has no beginning and no end. It is time for the transformation for self and the planet and the collective, and you are part of that. It is an exciting time. Can you feel the promise of what you made before you came here? There was a promise, and you said yes. You said, yes, I will come, I will take part, I will channel this energy, and I will become more of who I am. How does that feel? Do the cells of your body smile when you contemplate this potential? For it is who you truly are. And you will understand this perspective of the energy of your wholeness and your holiness through many different words, many different ways of understanding. What's most important is to feel it, sense it, become it. Can you? Yes, you are. Beautifully done. We encourage each one of you to know that each one of you has a piece of the puzzle of this reality. We encourage each one of you to know the magnificent event is to learn to bring together your pieces of the puzzle for what you have to give. For as you do, you open up new levels of reality. The more harmony, the more connected, the more present you are with one another, you actually unlock new frequencies of energies that you could not do before by yourself. It is the time of unique and united. The journey has been one for thousands of years that was singular. It is no longer the alone person. It is each one of us together. Does that feel right to you? Can you celebrate your own brilliance and the brilliance of the people all around you? The more you do that, the stronger you become in the energetic consciousness of unique and united. That opens up the new ways of being, the new ways of seeing, of knowing the new ways of when to do and when to be still. Are you ready for this? Indeed. Each one of you, from the wisdom of the feminine divine and in honor of the wisdom of the masculine divine, once again we remind you the energy of infinite love. Together let us affirm, in the energy of infinite love, I am alive, I am electrical, I am transformative. Indeed. Once again reminding you, you are greatly loved, inviting you to truly love greatly. And hear this. Together let us affirm in this moment, in these energies, in the frequencies co-created throughout this day. Together let us affirm, all is well. All is well. All is well. Well done, everyone.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. It's never a mystery to Spirit. Who is listening? Who is here? In this case, who sits in the chairs? There's always been this idea that that which you call God, Spirit, Creator, is in another room. And you are in a lower room. There's always been this idea that you reach out to try to touch that which is the face of God. And if you're lucky, if you're really lucky, God will look your way. This is the story, the narrative of most of the planet. And today you are here knowing better. Spirit knows of you, your name, why you sit here, what you might be going through, what you might be cognizing right now, the aha, perhaps, that is even occurring. So many times, the question has been asked, how does God see us? And I want to reaffirm that right now. I would love you to wipe away for just a moment all the reality, all the things of the earth. And picture for a moment that you are in a multidimensional state, you might say, and you're about to have a child. Men, you have also been women in this room. Women, you've also been men in this room. This room is filled with old souls who have shared all things on this planet and all genders. You've all given birth. Wipe away that which you consider inappropriate for an earthling to say, you might say, and become multidimensional just for a moment. And picture this. You're going to give birth to a child, and that child is going to be so special because that child is made in your image, just as it happened here. And imagine for that moment that you're going to release that child through the wind of birth onto a planet called Earth. And the last thing you're going to say to that entity as it passes through that area is you're going to look in the eyes and say, "Find me. Find me." And when you do, you'll know the connection we have. And when that child of yours begins to awaken, if they do, and ask the questions, if they do, and that child actually starts studying and asking, where'd it come from? Is there a creator? And is the creator, as I've told in the other room, or might it be in me? Because I feel it in me. And then that child begins to push against the culture and everything they've been told. And starts to realize that there is something bigger. It's hiding. And they reach out. God, if you're there, show me. And you've waited a long time, Mom, in this story. And you start to realize that the child is finding you. Stop everything. Question. How do you feel? How do you feel? Would there be tears in your eyes? Would you reach out to the child and say, thank you for understanding more than you can understand, understanding the puzzle, understanding the whys. Perhaps you don't, but you found me. And it's that point in time when you say, now that you find me, let's go together. Take my hand. Let's get something done. That's how God feels about you. Is it possible that this arrangement, if you want to call it, is the truth? It is the greatest truth on the planet, the one that hides so succinctly. In the low energies of earth and consciousness, you have built a scenario of what God is based upon what your Father is. Your Father is in charge. Your Father says something, you do it. Your Father punishes and rewards. And that has been the model of God. Now that the consciousness of the planet is starting to raise itself slightly and the old souls are really starting to understand, now you know. It's not that way at all. There's something bigger, grander. The system that my partner teaches is simply an informative one, but informs you about the greatest thing you could ever know on the planet. You are loved and have been from the moment you were released from the wind of birth. You are known by name from the moment you were released from the wind of birth, and have been looked at and watched and loved, waiting to find the truth. There are those who say it's so dark. Kryon, it's so dark in these times. I'm having trouble with. Sometimes it seems like the light escapes. I want to give you a formula. I want to tell you a little bit more about light and dark, but the formula is for light. It's easy. I'll give it to you in a moment. Light and dark are unusual. They're unusual in that there's a dynamic that people don't even think about. You're used to light and dark being like elements that move around. It's not really so at all. If you're in a room, has no windows, and there's no lights turned on, what do you have? And the answer is darkness. In other words, on this planet, right now, the status quo is a dark room. So dark is not active. It's not created. It just is because it's the absence of light. So when light occurs, the darkness starts to diminish until the light is bright enough for there to be no darkness. So that doesn't give credibility, does it, to darkness being active and fighting with the light? And yet it seems that way. I want to give you a reminder. It's that when you turn off the light, darkness doesn't come in. It was always there. Did you get that? You turn off the light, you get what was always there. It doesn't creep in. And so the answer is to carry this light on this planet, which is filled with darkness still, in a way that it never goes out. Ever. It won't go out when you sleep, dear ones, because you're protected. Honest. That's part of the issue. That's part of the plan. That's part of all the things that you learn here. That there are those encompassing you, old soul, all the time, to keep darkness away from you if that's your choice. To show you the way if that's your choice, if you've asked for that. But I have a formula. There is one thing that will not allow darkness in your life, ever. And it's not the study of Kryon. It's not the study of God. It's not listening to channels. It isn't even all that spiritual. But it is. And the answer is joy. Joy chases away the darkness. Period. If you can remain joyful in your waking hours and concentrate on this which is joyful in your life, the lights will never go out. How does that feel? And that, my friends, is the answer to finding God. If your hand is outstretched right now that says, I want to know you. I got it. I want to know you. I want you to be ready for a hand to come down and say, thank you. I found you finally. That's the truth. That's the truth. I am crying in love with humanity. And so it is. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching this. I wanted to tell you this is a little time sensitive.
Let's see if we can now suspend time as we move into a meditation and channel from Kryon. I invite you to suspend time with me now and move into a timelessness where your complete focus is feeling into a moment of gratitude that you have. In this moment, my gratitude is that our circle of 12 family have come together, helping each other with whatever issues we are facing in this moment. I have such gratitude that I have a family loving, supporting, accepting all of who I am. And let us extend that wave of love, support, and acceptance to the rest of our brothers and sisters facing whatever challenges they are going through in their moment. And let that wave of love, support, and gratitude filter out in a beautiful infinity loop that comes back to you as it is being acknowledged at a soul level of how your magnificence is feeding in and supporting the magnificence of every other precious soul that is currently living through these extraordinary transitional times on our beautiful planet. And now with gratitude, we sit back and enjoy the message coming through from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. I've told you so many times, if this is the first time you've seen channeling, it may surprise you to know that that energy from the other side of the veil that speaks to you now is fully cognizant of you. Every single soul who is watching this is known by God, known and loved by God. That is the premise since the beginning of all of the channelings. We approach every single channel with the idea that this might be your first time. And so there often is a review. This particular series that we are doing now in this healing time, this healing circle, has to do with the attributes of catalytic energy to healing. In other words, an energy that would then push on the potential of healing. Something perhaps that would happen which would open a door that wasn't there before for healing. The healing that we speak of is multifaceted. If you're in fear and you walk around in fear, and perhaps you have for a long time, and there's many things to fear, it would be a healing, would it not, if you found a way not to be afraid. That would be a healing. If you're anxious about all things in your culture, in your world, in your family, if you are always anxious and you have trouble sleeping, if you found a way to negate that and make it so much better and be peaceful, that would be a healing. And then you go to that which you would commonly think of as healing. Is there a disease? Or there are aches and pains? Or there's something there that shouldn't be there? Whatever it is, even if it has no name, if you could eliminate that, that's a healing. And so these are the issues that we speak of in this series. Are there things that would pave the road, you might say, open a door, you might say, for those kinds of healings? The answer is yes. We've already given you two of them. I'm going to review the first one because this third one relates to it. Now, I'll identify this third one in just a moment. Let us review that your body, that 4D body of yours, is mostly made up of chemical reactions. And those chemical reactions are perhaps triggered by the electronic signals from your brain. But what I am talking about is you are mostly chemical. And we talked about that in the first of this series. Now, if you are listening to this and did not hear the first channel, you can find it. These are all presented together for free as a series. If you are a member of this portal, you can also find it. So this is the third one. The first one talked about that which is perhaps confusing for many of you, and that was, it enters into the cognizing or the belief of all of this, that chemistry is part of what causes all things, whether it's fear or anxiety. It also is the measure of how long you will live. And so we said that anything that you can do to change the chemistry of your own four-dimensional body, not an esoteric body, just the four-dimensional. We're talking about the reality that you experience chemically. Anything you can do to improve the chemistry paves the road for healing. I think about the history of your medicine. When they realized all of the chemical reactions that go to making things work in your body, when they saw that, the first way of healing was allopathic. If they can alter the chemistry, if they can push and pull this chemical so perhaps it won't go over here or do these things, that would then be some kind of healing. And that is what major medicine still does today. The allopathicness, the reactions that they get, that has been what you grew up with and you're used to. We spoke of the homeopathy many times in the past. It's an idea that a tincture, which is also a chemical, would send a signal instead of getting a reaction. And that signal then would be accepted by the innate. That signal would be instructions to heal. But it's still chemical, isn't it? So back to the premise. If you could change the chemistry of your body, you won't have created the chemistry of anxiety or the chemistry of fear, or worse. You would not have a chemistry which shortens your life, because fear and anxiety will shorten your life. Well, there is something that will change the chemistry that has been proven to change the chemistry. In the first series of this, we had the parable of woe, who found out that he could take charge of his own cellular structure and he could steer his ship into safe places. That was in the first one. It had to do with your control, which many of you don't even think you have. So this third one is also you controlling your chemistry, but through a completely separate perception. And now I'll give the word, and then I'm going to tell you about the research. And the word is laughter. Laughter. How many of you who have had perhaps a stressful situation found it dissolved, even if it's temporarily, by laughter? Perhaps it's even unexpected laughter. You tune in perhaps to a program that really is funny, and you find yourself laughing and laughing, and just for those moments, do you realize that you're in that very interesting perception where your body chemically is altered just while you're laughing, is altered, because the anxiety is gone for those moments. Did you realize that? I think most of you are realizing that laughter seems to then suppress fear and anxiety. And so many will turn to laughter in the programs that they watch and all of these things for an escape. And it works. But you don't want something temporary, do you? There is research, good research, that shows that the chemistry of the body is altered by laughing. And the fun part of this is what follows. Have you ever heard of laughter yoga? Here is an exercise by those like you who understand what I am talking about now, where groups of people will get together and laugh. And you would say, well, what is the stimulus to make them laugh? There's got to be some jokes. There has to be some situations. They've got to talk about something funny to get it going. And the answer is, no, they don't. And this was another discovery. If they all simply started laughing at nothing, and you'll say, well, you can't do that. Yes, you can. You can pretend. But when you start laughing, even though there wasn't anything funny around, something happens. Your body starts to generate a new chemistry of funny. And others around you will start laughing at you, and you with them, without a joke, without a situation, and all of you will be laughing, and you can do it for a very long time, and then you're laughing at one another, and you're laughing at the situation because your chemistry starts changing. That's a fact. What has happened since then is it's not necessarily simply relegated to yoga laughter. Mainstream has discovered it as well. There is a lineage of videos that started as long as a decade ago that has the same theme. And the theme is a man laughing on a train, or a yoga master entering the subway who is going to laugh and chuckle, and in that, he has everyone else laughing on the train within a few minutes. Now, how many of you ride a subway? And how much fun is that? Are the people laughing? You don't know them. The answer is no. You have all kinds of people with all kinds of problems, and you're in the subway. Can you imagine one person starts laughing, and then within a few minutes, they're all laughing. And as the other ones laugh, more laugh. And the whole subway or train car ends up hysterically laughing. Proven. And it's all over what you call your media, your tube media. And you can watch various degrees of production. In fact, even commercials. One manufacturer of a product decided it would suit them to do this and show it as a commercial. This is known. Laughter is infectious. If you laugh, your chemistry starts to change. If you make it something you'll do often and reasons for it, perhaps you'll laugh with the joy of your magnificence. Can you do that? Or the love that you feel. Can you do that? If you begin to laugh on a regular basis, dear ones, laughter and joy will change your chemistry, and it paves a road for you to see a light you never saw before. It helps you cross the bridge when we get there into the circle of 12. Laughter is number 3. It's real, it's in 4D, it's not hard, and it works. That's the message of today. It is an actual, scientifically proven fact that your laughter changes your chemistry. And you know it and you felt it. Because that then relieves you of the fear and the anxiety when you do this. Why not do it on a regular basis? Why not have it be that which you do every day? Why not be someone who's known to laugh? These things that I give you are very real. If you want a healing today, why don't you start with this one? And so it is. Hello, I'm Lee Carroll.
And because we have been talking about Indigenous wisdom, Indigenous knowledge, and for thousands of years before what we consider modern civilization, the planet was populated by the indigenous. And take a moment to connect with the pieces and parts of your Akash that hold indigenous wisdom and knowledge. And as you connect to your indigenous wisdom and knowledge, are there any messages that indigenous self, that indigenous aspect of yourself wishes to communicate with you? And you don't need to hear or feel the answer immediately, but just allow for the possibility of receiving communication from your wise, ancestral, indigenous self. And now, allow yourself to release any ideas of expectations of how you will receive it, because that request is in the field and it will come to you as you need it. And right now, the message of Kryon is being delivered to you, and there is an answer for you to receive.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Again, I will say that spirit is not in a vacuum, is not in the dark. That the love of God is everywhere. The love of spirit, the creative source, is always with you, always with you. This is a theme that we have repeated and repeated now for 31 years. And yet sometimes it's not understood or appreciated or known. It's like God stands on a wall or on the other side of the wall, or something you have to get to or go through in order to be heard. It's not that way. This is a healing meeting. And in a little while, again, I will give you the meditation, which takes you across the bridge, as we always do. It's a sameness that you can count on. It's a consistency of energy where you can sit in a chair and feel the love of those around you. But right now, in this particular channel, I want to do something similar. On the planet, at this moment, there are so many suffering. And it's a different kind of suffering. There's always suffering at some place on the planet, but right now, it's different. Where you truly are in the middle of a 2020 year of the virus. And in that, society has been disrupted. The normalcy that you had is gone for now. It will return, dear ones. It will return differently, dear ones. And we have discussed that. I'm not here, again, to review the reasons for the virus. I want to talk about those who are suffering because of the virus. And I'm not talking about medically at all. I want to talk about those who are in distraught, can't sleep at night, have had things happen in their lives because of this, or have had things happen in their lives that seems accidental to this, but it still lays on them in a heavy way. There are many leaving the planet right now. There are many leaving the planet right now that have nothing to do with the virus. History will show that the death rate, apart from the virus, is a bit higher than normal. To make it worse, those you would go to for support or information, perhaps in your press, or those you would trust, would have no good news for you. The combination of that is unhealthy, to say the least. And so many right now are in that position. So I want to talk about that for you. And I want you to come with me. Come a little closer. And I want to tell you something. We'll start with this story. My partner once asked a commercial pilot. He was getting on a plane and he asked the commercial pilot, he says, what keeps you going? You have bad days and good days and all that. And your schedule, I see, is really... You're flying all the time. What really keeps you going? And the pilot smiled and he said, we learned a long time ago, many of us, that no matter what kind of a day we're having, that when we get above the clouds, the sun is always shining. It's true. If you've ever taken off from an airport in a commercial flight and there's storms and dark clouds, when you get above the clouds, it's a nice day. And what he was trying to say and did was that it's always a nice day where he was going to go, above the clouds. I would like to use this metaphor for you to cognize something, no matter how you're feeling at this moment. The love, compassion, caring is always there. It doesn't go away because you're having a bad day. It's always there. You tend to build a wall in your depression. Very common. The wall of depression, anxiety, fear starts to block you from all good things. It takes away your feeling of peace, laughter. Starts to change a good name, a good, I would say, personality to one that isn't. It starts to change who you are, and you know that. It's interesting what depression will do. You're either losing weight or you're gaining weight, but you're not staying the same. And you know that something is different, and you know what it is. So let's go someplace, you and I, just for a moment. You're going to hear the circle of 12 just like you always did. But I want to give you something similar. As you just sit there, do you give permission for this anxiety, this fear, this lack of peace to change? Do you or not? You'll notice that at every single channel, whether it's crossing the bridge or that's just a meditation, the first thing we do is we ask you whether it's okay. And that is because there is a free choice that is needed. Gone are the days, dear ones, when you're simply going to sit in the chair and be visited by the angel of peace. You're going to have to say, I give permission. You're not going to have someone else do it for you, dear ones. You're going to do it yourself, but not with grand and great effort, no stairs to climb, just permission. Do you give permission to change right now, to find some joy where you didn't before? And if you do, let me take you there, to a place where you can sit, take a breath. And I want you to know that the arms of Spirit are going to open those clouds of doom right now. Because you've given permission, you've also told your cellular structure that it doesn't have to go into dis-ease. It doesn't have to go into that place which is unhealthy. And it will start cooperating with you as soon as you've given permission, because now you sit in a place that you didn't before. And I want you to envision, if you wish, all of the entities that you can even imagine that you would respect. All of those masters and all of those angels who have come through the gloom, because you see, it's a sunny day on the other side. That means there's joy and compassion and love and all those things that you wanted to have, and they're coming through that clouds, and you are the target today. Can you feel this? Can you understand where I'm going with this? And they are headed for your chair right now because you have said yes. Dear Spirit, I am not a victim anymore of this planet. I am not a victim of this world. Things don't happen to me. At some level, you have given permission, because you've closed that hole in the clouds, for random things to take place instead of being shielded by that beautiful idea that there is a consciousness in you that actually is seen by God. They're here now. They're at that chair. They're where you are. And right now, I want you to feel their arms around you. And if you could hear them saying anything at all, they'd say, why did you wait so long? Why did you wait so long? Here, let me lift you up. Here, let me take you for a moment above those clouds. Let me show you that the sun is always shining. Let me show you that there is joy here, that we care about you. We know your name, and we love you. We love you. And if they could give you a message, it would say, don't let the clouds close over you. Don't let it happen. When the channel is finished, I want you to feel and understand that the paradigm of life that you've chosen is not the one necessarily that you're supposed to be in. That you are supposed to be in joy, in maturity, no matter what has happened. Even if you've lost a loved one, even if it's only days old, you can grieve and still be joyful that you're on the other side of the clouds. And in that position, you'll even understand and hear those who've loved and lost suddenly join you and say, yes, we are on the other side of the clouds as well. There is so much that your consciousness can do to get out of that unhealthy position. And don't be surprised if things start to get better in your life, because only you've given permission for them to get better. This is Healing 101, dear ones, which is an expression for the elementary teaching of how to heal yourself. And the first is to feel the love of the Creator is still there. It didn't go away. The idea that God somehow doesn't know you or hasn't seen you or has forsaken you is something you made up. You did. Or something was told to you. It's always a sunny day. The love of God is always there if you would allow it. If you allow it. We're going to come back in a little bit and start the circle of 12. Dear ones, God knows your name. That ought to tell you everything. And so it is.